Mics are hot.
Mics are hot.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. This is a special 802 Scoop election coverage for Northfield, Vermont. With us tonight, of course, you got myself, Michael Booten, and then we've got Liam Hogan, from Hogan Group LLC, and we've got the ever-present, amazing Brian Massey Jr. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How you doing?
I am good. Yourself?
I can't complain too much. I can, but I won't on this show.
It's probably safer that way.
Probably safer. I'm not going to lie. I was going to share it to a group, but I just don't have the group here in the list of 1,000 groups. So I do apologize on that.
That's okay.
So tell me about yourself.
Well, where would you like to start?
Well, first, I guess, why are you here? You're here because you're running for select board in Northfield.
Yeah. So I currently live in Northfield. I am a Central Vermonter. I grew up here, was raised here. Actually from Montpelier, your next door neighbor.
That's not going to win you any brownie points either.
No, I didn't think that would. But I'm pretty familiar with around the area. My family's from here, mostly. So how did I transition to Northfield? Well, Northfield, I grew up half in Northfield, half in Montpelier. My mother's side of my family was raised there. My grandparents lived there most of their lives. And so it's always been kind of another home to me. I went back to Northfield several times and just finally went back for good. Starting getting involved with some of the town. I started to volunteer for the Planning Commission, started volunteering for the Development Review Board, and just love it and enjoy working with the folks on both those committees, or boards, I should say. And I did run for select board last year for the first time. I gave it a go. I got to be honest, brand new. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. A little bit, but I think we all go through that, we kind of just jump in with what we got and give it our best. So I obviously lost the first round, and I don't like giving up. I'm a pretty competitive person, so I continued to participate, and been going to just about every select board meeting for the past year. And so here we are, the second round, and trying to go after another seat. And it's been quite the journey.
I can tell you, as someone that's been on city council I had been on city council for 14 years. It is a journey. That is a good way to say it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I feel your pain on that. Definitely a journey. And I can feel your pain on the not making it the first time. I obviously lost my seat on city council, so it's not easy to be doing local politics. That's for sure. Yeah. And especially nowadays, before I jump in and start asking you questions, so you've lived in Central Vermont all your life?
Yes.
So besides the fact that you lived in Montpelier, so your whole life is this Central Vermont area?
My whole life has consistently been Central Vermont, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What school did you go to again?
Montpelier High.
Montpelier High School?
Mm-hmm.
won't talk to you about consolidation because that's not necessarily. And I won't bring up the school stuff either. So
No.
why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this? I think there comes a point in your life where when you get to a certain age, you start thinking about the future, right? You
Yep.
start thinking about the surroundings of your community. Most of the things that I've been involved with throughout time, I'm just going to go out and say it. I've been involved with a lot of veteran organizations, particularly one which is the Sons of the American Legion. I'm sure that you've heard of that organization. I just came off from a 2-year commandership, state commandership for the state this prior year. And I love working with people. I love working with variety of people. And just the ideas that come up, they're just amazing. And I took some of that and I started to sit down and figure out what can I do and how can I somehow incorporate this into our community. And the more I ran with it, the more it made sense. And I started putting it out there to folks, some of my neighbors, some of the community members, and to where certain things made sense, to where we haven't been doing that. And so the more I did it, the more it took off. And I didn't think I'd get the support basis that I would get now because of the things that I've talked about. And so, moving those into actions, that's kind of where the direction I've been going. But the ultimate question, why am I doing this? I think every young person in their life at some point has to engage. I mean, we live in these communities and we have to start pitching in. We only have these folks that have been doing it for quite some time, for so long. And what are we left with?
Yeah, definitely need new blood. That's for
we
sure.
do. Yeah.
100%. Kathy says, good evening, Kathy Silk. And Bert Saldy says, Brian for Northfield Select Board. I've met Brian, a great person, the Vermonter from the other side. The Vermonter. He must be referring to himself as the Vermonter from the other side. I'm not sure.
Guess I don't know how to answer that.
So, I don't have much information about Northfield. The most information I have is that
Gotcha.
when I was a kid, I went to the pool, jumped the fence at like 11 o'clock at night and went swimming with a bunch of friends,
Right.
which was illegal at the time. Still probably is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't recommend that. Do you guys still have a pool?
We do.
You do?
Yes. Yep.
And that's a municipal pool, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. You're
Yep.
going to keep that? You're going to support keeping that open?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a hot topic.
It-
The Northfield
it is-
Municipal Pool.
It is a very
You'd be
hot topic.
surprised.
Yes.
You'd be surprised. It might actually be a hot topic because even here, they're expensive. Municipal
They are.
pools expensive.
People don't realize the upkeep and the hard work that you have to keep that going.
Yeah.
I actually used to work at one time in my youth life for the recreation department in Montpelier, and one of those duties was to take care of the Montpelier pool. And I will tell you, I will never volunteer for that ever again, just because there's a lot of mechanics, a lot of chemical balances. Yeah, no, not for this guy. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. Certainly not. So we do have quite a few people that are watching. Want to ask people, if you have a question, please drop it in the comments so that I can ask Brian. And also ask that you share the videos so that folks can also learn more about Brian.
After you're done watching.
No, you share now. You can share it now.
Okay.
And do like the little like emojis and everything else because that gets the Facebook gods happy and stuff.
The Facebook gods.
Pray to
Yeah.
the Facebook gods.
So I got a couple years ago, Berry City went through a period where council lacked civility. It was a significant problem. I actually recently talked about it at an event that I went to. Can you, and I mean, we can definitely talk about civility in general, but can you speak to the current select board meetings and how you intend to bring civility to those meetings?
Well, let me ask you this: how has it been in your situation with the municipality here?
So I progressively got uncivil, so probably not the best person to talk to.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to rewind that tape until after I was no longer in that position. There was some significant issues that I had with one of the members of the city council, and it definitely created a very hot conversation. When Lucas was there, though, I mean, it was great. I had a great relationship with Lucas, and but I definitely had some issues with some individuals.
Sure.
So how do you see yourself? I'm assuming it's pretty aggressive. Is that correct? Is it like Williamstown
It can be at
aggressive,
times.
or
No, no. We're all different people. We all have different opinions. I think we all want the common goal, but there has been times where it's been a little pushy. My experience is if I was to be on the board, depending on the situation, you want to be professional as best you can be. But again, there are times where things can go off track. And I guess the best thing is, for me, is to look at all options. Before making a decision, that should be your first to go. Look at some of the common options before making that decision, and absolutely a final decision, because a lot of the times you don't know who's going to accept that vote, including your vote. So you want to be supportive of each board member, but at the same time you want to be firm and be heard. And that's probably been the biggest thing for me is being heard. And to be on the board, we really should listen. We should listen more. It comes with the job, you know. Yes, there are times when things can get nasty. There's no doubt about that. It's how you approach it and how you present yourself. So, I don't know if that answers your question specifically.
Well, I mean, so has the select board been less than friendly to the public? Is that the case down there?
You know, I don't think so.
I don't
think
think so.
for the majority, everyone's pretty friendly. I think everybody's pretty friendly. I will tell you that some things are misconstrued, or someone gets rubbed off by the wrong emotion. But for the most part, I think everybody's kind of, friendly and wanting to help.
All right.
So.
All right. That's good. So you're not like going to be throwing any bombs.
No. No rocks.
Not to
rocks?
start with, anyway.
Not to start with. That's good. That's always good.
Yeah.
That's positive.
So one of the big topics that I know about with Northfield is your police chief, right? So
Yep.
recently you guys lost your police chief, and you've had some rough times. What are you expecting from a new chief and the future of the police department? These are from an individual that asks tough questions. I'm not going to lie.
No, it's totally fine. I hope I can answer it in the best possible way. But I've been very heavily involved with the police chief and trying to get the police department back on track. If you go back and see some of the select board videos, you will see some of me making very vivid statements about the need for public safety. And that's everything. A municipality that doesn't have public safety is a failing municipality in my eyes. I was a volunteer firefighter for quite some time, so I know what it feels like when you can't do the job that you enjoy to do. But getting back to the police department and the police chief, I will tell you that the interim police chief, Kevin Moulton, who is out of Montpelier PD, is doing a really great job. He came in and has just been cleaning house. And I actually know the Montpelier chief. He's known me since I was a little kid. I won't get into you on why, because that's another story.
Jumping into the pools, is that?
Well, there was a few bicycle instances, and we'll leave it at that. You have to remember, back in that generation, BMX was pretty hot back then. So.
I was thinking of a BMX. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
you know
how that goes.
That generation.
That generation.
You're younger than me, correct?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But still, right around that generation. So.
Yeah.
But Kevin has been doing a great job.
Kevin's a Barry boy, so I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he used to live up on Long Street many, many years ago.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. He needs to move back to Barry. I don't know where he is now, but he needs to move back. He was also a city councilor, if I recall.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I heard he's in Northfield now.
He is in Northfield. I don't know where he lives, but he's in Northfield, obviously.
Yeah.
You guys have been scooping up all our good people, apparently.
Well, there was a vivid response from the public. I mean, if you go back and look, people were wanting our police department to get fixed, and I just, I sat down and I thought about it, and I kept writing, and I said, you know what, I need to make a statement. And I'm glad it was heard, because when I did present that, my phone blew up immediately with an outsource of people that I knew. I don't know if I can mention names on here, but
you can always mention names,
okay,
whether or not you get into trouble for doing so.
I want to recognize Joe Alsworth, who everyone knows.
Yep. Is he in Northfield?
That's a good question. I don't think so, but he's, again, it's a tight community. We're very benefit from being in Central Vermont because we all work together. So I knew him when I was obviously a firefighter, so I was glad to have him jump in and say, hey, I'll put the word out and see what I can do. And I got reached out by some of the Montpelier PD guys, some of the retired ones, and said, hey, if you need help, we'll see what we can do. And I believe there was a meeting that was actually with Montpelier, Berlin, Washington County sheriffs, and they met with the select board and kind of just hashed it out. And I think from that meeting, I think a lot of the biggest question was, well, why wasn't this done sooner? And I didn't get a lot of feedback on why. I got a lot of feedback on blame and not taking ownership and responsibility of the leadership that was running the town. So that's another area I'm not going to cross, but that's that was my interpretation of it. And so I'm really happy that we got the ball rolling, and I'm very happy that Kevin came on board and has just been doing a phenomenal job trying to clean up some of the mess over there, as we call it. It's great to see people back in the building, and I talked to Kevin at his meet and greet with Steve McKenzie, who's the interim town manager, and he's got really great ideas, great plans, and he's doing his absolute best to get us staffed, and I hope it takes off. I really do. So
Nice. Yeah, so we can talk about Mr. McKenzie. I love Steve. He is, I took his place on city council when he stepped down for being a manager. And I will tell you, I absolutely loved working with him as a city councilor, and as a city manager. Have you had a lot of interaction with him?
So I haven't had. I've had very little interaction with. I have met him a few times since he's taken the position, and I got to say, my hat's off to that man. I mean, everything that he's had that's fallen in his lap is just been something. But so far, he's taken it with a grain of salt, and he's working it. He's doing the job and making the connections and meeting with the department heads of the town and establishing a relationship. So I hope he keeps going. I mean, the more good we can do together, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a really good guy.
He's a down-earth guy, and that's what we need.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, Steve's doing good.
Good. Bert says that Kevin did live on Long Street, and Kevin is a super person. That's what he said. So regarding the city manager, you guys are going through, you have not hired, correct?
No, so we're in the processing of going through applicants.
Going through that.
Yeah.
So that would mean if you're elected, you're the one that's going to be hiring the city manager, correct? Because it's not going to happen before March.
Potentially, probably
So-
not, unless something happens.
It would
within
have
the next,
to be next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be.
So
Right.
probably not. It definitely
No,
it's
it'd have to
definitely
be this
no.
week.
It would have to be this week.
It would have to be this week before
Right.
before the weekend.
Boy, that would be
And
kind
that
of icky.
I don't see that happening per se, because the board is wanting to establish a search advisory committee made up of residents, folks that can volunteer. There was some discussion at the last select meeting about that, and I'm sure residents have already seen some of the notices that have went out looking for volunteers to serve on that committee. I actually submitted for that committee myself. It's pretty much similar to the committee that is here in Berry City, which is something I also addressed to the board in a statement at the same time as my statement for public safety, because I really think my vision is to make sure that we have community members on a board and screening some of these applicants, not only committee members, but maybe some department heads, because you have to remember the department heads have to work with the town manager. They have to work with the chief of police. So it makes sense to put some of those folks on the board, or committee, I should say. And I think we're on the right track here. Obviously, the final say will come down to the select board, obviously. But I think the recommendation from that advisory committee would be a first step in progress. Absolutely.
What are you going to be looking for in a city manager?
A city manager, first and foremost, experience. I think we all want some form of experience. I'm not saying in a perfect world that's going to happen, but I certainly don't want to have somebody be in there for a short period of time. I think we need some youth in there that can commit to the time, but also be a part of the community. I really think a person in that position should be out in the community more and establishing those relationships. Because who do we go to when we need something done? You know, the first call is the town manager. You know, something falls apart, town manager. So me, someone that's got the personality, the skill set forth, but the sense of community, really. You know, accountability is a big one. You know, if you mess up, that's fine. Say it. Come out and say, hey, I messed up. But if you sit there and hide it, or you lie about it, or you come up with some scenario, that's not good professionalism in my eyes. That's just me.
I'd say one thing that you'll definitely want to talk to whatever prospective individual that you have come before you. One of the biggest difficulties for a city manager, especially somebody that's not from this area, is the struggle with dealing with people in like a small community. Berry City's pretty small, and you know, you rub one person the wrong way, 10 other people automatically are rubbed that way. There's nothing that you can do about that. In Northfield, I suspect it's like 10 times worse, because I believe you guys are at least half the amount of population, although
Right.
your square footage is probably
It's a little bit
higher.
bigger.
A little bit bigger than our postage stamp.
Yeah.
But it's still the same, where, you know, that's pretty difficult.
It is, yeah.
How would you counsel a manager that's
You
dealing
know,
with that?
I'll come out and just say it. You know, I told Steve, I said, you know, do the best that you can. You know, you're not going to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
There's no way. But to me, show that you're trying. Show that this town means something to you and you're wanting to do the job. That speaks louder than words. Show your actions. And that's what we need. And that's not just for Northfield, that's everywhere. You know, I hear nothing but chatter. Me, I don't like chatter. I'm a doer. I say what I do. And that's the difference. And that's what I look for. Because I think things get done efficient, better that way. And it shows results. It really does.
Nice. So everybody complains about it. Taxes, right? Taxes, roads.
Oh boy.
Taxes and roads, taxes and roads. What's your philosophy on taxing in Northfield?
Well, let me just say that I am a firm believer everybody has to pay we all have to pay taxes. We all have to pay our share, right? But to pay our taxes, we really need to look in the future better and more efficient. And I will tell you, being on some of these budget meetings and finance meetings, my mind is like, well, how did we get here? How did we get here? Because I got to be honest, we have our fair share of debt, but we have a lot of stuff that's, in deficit. And to get ourselves even out of deficit and to plan for future years, we're going to take a chunk. And, when I say to our folks, as tomorrow is the last meeting for public participation, I'm telling residents, this is your shot. This is your time. When the budget's presented, it's presented, and this is the time. You have a voice, and if you think something is too high and you don't agree with it, tomorrow night, be in Northfield at the select board meeting and voice your opinion, because this is the time. This is the last chance before it goes into article. So, taxes, I'm a firm believer. I pay taxes just like everybody else, but like a taxpayer, I want to know where my money is going to. What is the long-term longevity of it? Is there light at the end of the tunnel? Are we going to get into a place where we're not taxing our taxpayers ridiculous amounts every year? So I think there's a way, and I just think we need to explore more options instead of throwing money at different things. I think we have a lot of projects that need to get finished, and I think that needs to take priority. But we also have the understanding that, again, we do have our debt and we do have our deficit, which contributes to that. But with the increases of that for future years, I think I have voiced that in our budget meetings, and I'm actually happy to report that we are headed in that direction, and that's great. That's progress. So yes, it's going to sting this year, and I've talked with a lot of locals, but it is a stepping stone in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Well, something that we talked about yesterday was some municipalities, 20 municipalities in the state of Vermont, are talking about a local options tax.
Yes.
So eventually it's going to come up as a topic of conversation. What's your thoughts on a local options tax? And for folks that don't know what that is, that's that additional 1 cent added to sales tax.
So I think the local option tax makes sense to municipalities that have a lot of businesses, a lot of potential growth that, well, let me back up there, that has growth, that can potentially grow more. With us over in Northfield, we have businesses, but a lot of them are small. They're not very big. And so right now, they're having difficulty even just getting folks in their door. And that varies, per season. Right now we have the Norwich folks over there that contribute. We get into the summer months, everybody's kind of vacationing or at their family camps, so there's not a whole lot of attention there. There is some. Fall, we get a lot of tourists, obviously, that come in. They like to see our lovely covered bridges, and they like to shop local too. I think there's potential. And it is, you are right, it has been a very talkative subject. And I've heard some positive feedback because we could generate a substantial amount to where it could offset and possibly lower the property taxes in some sense. But I think we're really in the very fresh beginning stages of that. I don't think we're in a position to jump on that just yet. Before we do more research and kind of come together as a community.
Now, Northfield, how much of an impact did you guys experience from the flood?
So we faced a lot, you know. Me being one of them. I was there when Irene hit. My place didn't get affected as much, but just my area within the town took a substantial hit, and some of those buildings are still there. We literally just had a FEMA buyout for a laundromat. I'm sure that you may have not seen over on Water Street that was just barely dismantled, which was a FEMA buyout.
Is that the FEMA buyout from
the most
2023?
recent flood?
Okay.
Yeah, because obviously Irene hit.
Sometimes
and you had
they take
two
longer.
others. Yeah. So I got to be honest, the two prior floods hit worse than the Irene, at least in my area. But yeah, we've had some substantial damage. Our town garage and ambulance bay, which they share, is in a flood zone. So you know we're working on that. You know, trying to get them out of that scenario. Dog River, that's a housing community that's gotten flooded out several times. It's literally right next to the river. I haven't seen a whole lot of progress since we keep going through this. So I'd like to see something done about that. You know, we have a lot of seniors that live in those housing. We have a lot of families that live in that housing, and they took substantial damage. So I'm glad that the state had stepped in, but I think we can do better. I think, you know, as a community, I think we can look out more for that.
Is Northfield applying for any community development block grant disaster relief funds?
I think we have, and I think we've received some of them, but we've lost a few grants, from my understanding, because we didn't use them when we were supposed to. Was my understanding. I haven't dived deep into that, but I will. I'm trying to get more involved in that, because I know for a fact that we're going to be reaching out for grants this year.
So you made a comment about didn't use them, which made me immediately think of ARPA. Did you?
ARPA, we did use ARPA.
Oh, you did
Yep.
use your ARPA.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that would have been absolutely awful. Because your community could do the standard deduction, for a lack of a better term, which is what Berry City did. As we just said, we're taking the 10 million and we're plopping it in. Well, it wasn't 10 million. It was up to 10 million. But we only got, I want to say 2. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But okay, so you guys were able to use those funds.
When I say we lost some grants, I don't know the specific ones, but they were, I think, smaller ones. But the ARPA one, we did use that one. Yes.
Didn't get approved, not lost then, correct?
No. So we ended up losing a couple grants that were approved.
Ooh.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Is that because of the management? You don't know, and that's okay. Or you don't want to talk about it. I
do know, but I'm gonna.
You're gonna let it
ride.
Let it ride.
You know.
Well, Steve will take care of that. You know, he'll try to fix that up.
Right.
He's familiar with grant writing. I mean,
Yeah.
he did it in Berry City, so
Sure.
he'll be able to work that out.
Yeah.
Nice. Any specific questions, or not questions, but anything you want to let the voters know?
You know, when it comes to the budget, just pay close attention. Please take a look at the town report. Everything that you need to know is in that town report. It is available. Just go through it. Take some time, spend some time. And it's kind of short notice because, and I've been saying that on my campaign page and to most of the town folks, tomorrow night is the night. It is your time. It is your voice. This is the time to tell the board either you want this or you don't. Because it will go into an article for town meeting day. Because we don't have town meeting day anymore. It goes Australian ballot, and that's it. So this is the time. We are going from a 4% back when this first budget was put together, and we are now at, I believe, from my figures was 7.5 increase from 4%.
Oh.
So
I mean,
it's not unrealistic, but it's a substantial amount. And a majority of that, and I want to be, clear on that for folks, is we have a lot of deficit, we have a lot of debt. We have surplus, but a majority of that is going to be used up for some of the requests that have come before the town, obviously. I'm just going to throw it out there. The fire department is looking for a new ladder truck. Well, how much do you think a new ladder truck costs?
$500,000.
Maybe a couple years ago, you're up to maybe $11 million, brand new.
Oh, wow.
So.
Oh, you mean new.
New. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're like barking up a tree that I'm very sensitive towards regarding the idea of a ladder truck.
Yeah.
So.
That's just a small.
Well, you guys are part of the district, right?
Yeah.
What is it called? It's the fire district. It's not a fire district. It's like
I believe it's District 6, but I could be wrong by now.
No,
I've kind of been out of the game short
one
term.
that Montpelier does dispatching for.
So that's Capital West.
That's it. Okay.
Capital West.
No, that's the name of
That's
their
the
name.
name
There's
of it. Yeah.
Anyway, so the point that I'm going to get to is, within a 14-mile radius, right? Because I think that includes kind of Northfield from Montpelier.
You're talking about mutual aid.
You're right. So I am not necessarily talking about mutual aid, but it kind of gets to that.
Yeah.
One of the problems that we have is we like to have control of our stuff.
Sure.
A couple years ago, almost 10 years ago now probably, we were trying to do a regionalization approach.
I remember that.
Yes. Were you on any of those committees?
Berlin tried to do regionalization when I was on Berlin Volunteer Fire Department. Our EMS was trying to lift off, and we tried to do that, and it failed. But we didn't make any progress over that. I think we just left it dead in the water at that point.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened here.
Yeah.
I mean, we were trying to regionalize, because how many ladder trucks do you think we really need? I mean, Berry City has a ladder truck. Montpelier has a ladder truck. Does Berlin have a ladder truck?
Yes.
So Williamstown has a ladder truck.
Yep.
How many freaking ladder trucks do we need in the central Vermont area?
Well, I'm not one of
Williamstown.
those. I'm not a fire officer, and I couldn't begin to debate with you on that one. Do I think every municipality needs one? I guess it would depend on how many you have to serve in that municipality, and depending on what you have for structures. I mean, it doesn't take much for, a single-family home that's next to, let's say, an apartment complex or some type of other building, to where one apparatus could take it down, but need another one to back it up. So, I mean, it really comes down to the needs of the municipality. But I don't disagree with you. I think that's something that needs to be looked at, I think, in the future. But I've, from experience, I don't think this conversation will ever go away. I think at some point, Central Vermont's going to have to look at that, because let's be realistic. We have Berlin, we have Barry, we have Montpelier. They're right next door to each other. Mm-hmm. We have Berlin, we have Northfield. They're right next door to each other. Barry, Montpelier, you're right next door to each other.
Then you got Williamstown over on the other end.
Exactly.
On the other side of Barry, who's got a ladder truck. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's 6 ladder trucks within how many miles of each other?
Mm-hmm. It's a heck of a lot of ladder trucks for such a small area. Yeah.
It is.
But I'm pretty sure Randolph
has a ladder truck too.
And that'd be the next closest.
That's right, because you were on the fire department, weren't you?
I was in Barrytown for a little bit.
Barrytown, yeah. But, I'm probably pissing off some of my firefighter friends, but...
Because all your firefighter friends want ladder trucks.
Let me just tell you, don't do that. Don't upset the firefighters.
I won't, because I was one and I served with some of the greatest, I'll tell you. And we all know the feeling when we get a nice new apparatus, or even a used apparatus that has meaning, May or may not know that the tower truck that was in Berlin was actually replaced with the tower truck that is there now. And I have some great memories with that truck. And I have a dear friend that actually owns that truck. And it's still in his front yard. So I'm glad that it's being looked over. But, working with all the apparatuses and the equipment, it wears on you. And, but I couldn't think of a better position to be in to serve a community than that position right there, because it's a tough job, and that goes for all of public safety. It's a tough job. It really is.
It is. It definitely is.
Either you have or a big community or a small community. It's far in between.
Yeah. Kathy Silk says Central Vermont is not a small area, and remember that it's rural. And I know I said Central Vermont.
I know,
but I was
She's
actually
right.
thinking mainly like Berlin, Montpelier, Barry,
right.
Williamstown, Northfield. Sure. That's a much smaller area than Central Vermont.
Yeah.
And
this side of the
Kathy points out every 10 years regionalization comes up and it dies. It does. For me,
yeah.
I wish it wouldn't, but I'm a big fan of the regionalization, but I know that there's struggles with it. There's some struggles with it. And Sam Fisk says, "Good evening, gentlemen."
Mr. Sam Fisk.
Mr. Fisk. All right. Well, we're hitting about an hour. Any final words to tell people?
That's the tough one. I'm not looking for any handouts. I've been working my butt off, and I hope the town knows that. I've been committing as much as I can commit to. It's not easy working 2 jobs, so we've made progress. We have made some progress, but I think a lot of fear of change is still is a big concern. Here's the thing, change is going to happen whether we want it or not, and ideas are going to vary, and it's just what we do and how we interact with people to make the community a better place is what I'm set for my goal, and I hope that I can do that and bring that to Northfield. I think putting Northfield first, as I've been saying that during my whole campaign, is something that has some meaning to it. And I really hope that the voters come out, on town meeting day and support that. I hope they support that some change is good. Not to say that I would be taking away anything, but I really think that Northfield has a potential to grow, just like anywhere else. But I also know that it's going to take baby steps to get there. And I think the more engagement we have as a community, the better off we're going to be. And I hope that happens and continues to happen.
All right. So Charlotte is asking what you're running for. So you're running for select board.
So there's 2 positions open. There's the 2-year term and the 3-year term. I am running against another gentleman for the 3-year seat, and the other one is, there's actually 3 people running for that 2-year seat. So that's going to be a competitive race. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, certainly good luck to you running for select board in Northfield, Vermont, and we definitely wish you well. And want to say thank you to everybody for watching. Make sure that you and Charlotte says you got this.
That's what they keep telling me.
Well, just want to say thank you to everyone for watching, and with that, we will bid everyone adieu. Have a great night, folks.